it's in this. Oh, I said it's starting. Oh, yeah. But yeah, just look. It's either like from your laptop or from your mic or from your earphones, and it's like it's horrible. And you're like, why is it messing up? Like, oh yeah,
Every time I get into it, it changes what I use, and I have to redo everything, man. I don't know why Audacity does that. It's probably because I have like some prehistoric version. I haven't upgraded it, so, but who knows, man?
no, no. I do notice that if you don't have like your earphones or your mic plugged in beforehand, then it'll go to default.
Yeah.
So at least for yeah, yeah. So, but you know all that and stuff like that, so I don't have to tell you.
Hey, was that your mother?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Should have brought her in and said hi and stuff.
Next time. Next time. No worries. No
Yeah.
worries.
I mean they know who you are and stuff like that, but
That's cool.
oh, it's like I told him about you coming down and stuff, and my mom was like, "Heck yeah, let's go." And then my dad's he's a very selective with the people that he like talks with because he's been a cop for 20 years, so he's seen the worst of humanity. So it's
Yeah.
like he's like I don't know, but it's just like nah, just get a lunch, get a breakfast, lunch,
Same,
on sit
man.
down. You'll be fine.
I'm not too bad. You know what I mean?
And
I've made
it's
I've had
just
I
maybe
have
a
my
little bit.
quirks, man, but I'll be all right. How was your Christmas, brother? How was your holidays?
Oh man, it is so cool. Actually, I have good news. Like I'm starting, like I told you, well, I cook for you guys, like breakfast and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
starting to cook more. And I actually, with my dad's help, smoked a brisket. This,
Oh, get out of here, man. How long did that
yeah,
take?
oh man, it took all night. So we put it in at like 12, oh, midnight. And then we didn't take it out until 10, and we had to check on it throughout the night and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So but my dad has been through the fire of like trial and error for the brisket, so he knew what to do. So we got like the smoke ring on it, we had perfect seasoning, and man, when we were cutting up, my cousin was just hovering over me, and I was just like feeding him like a little
Was
dog.
it like we're just falling off, dude? It was just kind of, it was super tender. That's what it's all about, man. How big was the brisket?
10 pounds, 10
Oh,
pounds. So
damn.
yeah, no, my dad usually does like 15 pounds,
He
so
had to start you
that's
small, man. He had to start you with the baby brisket.
yeah,
Hey, look,
he's like, I settle down a little bit, boy.
congratulations, man. A man's first
Yeah,
brisket. That's something that you could put on your belt now. Not a lot of people could say that.
especially a Texan. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's like I feel like if you haven't like smoked like as a Texan, it's like kind of slight on your pride.
What else with Texas? What else is like you have to like country music in Texas? You gotta have some country in your heart, right?
You gotta like George Strait a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
I
I know
like
we
two
talked about
stepping.
that. George Strait,
Mhm.
huge.
But honestly, like there's only like two things you actually really need to like in Texas to be a true Texan, and that's HEB and Bucky's. Like,
Bucky's, man.
yeah, yeah. Those are the two things. It's like if you don't like one of those, you're not a true Texan.
Oh
Sorry.
my God. All right. Well, at least I
But
like Bucky's. So
yeah,
I'll go with that.
you're gonna like HEB though when you come down here. I'm telling you, man.
That's a supermarket?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And it's our supermarket.
Yeah. Where you're at, Austin.
I mean, it came from San Antonio, and it's
Okay.
slowly working its way out. But how was your Christmas, dude?
That was good, man. Just my sister, my stepmom's sister from Trinidad actually came up, and we haven't seen her in 15 years. So that was cool, man. I don't think she's never been in the States. So this was her first
Oh,
time in the United States. And first thing we did is went to Popeyes. So it's the absolute first thing we
nice,
did is
dude.
go right to Popeyes, out of the gate there in Boston. And she loved it, man. Like she's enjoying it. It's chill here. She exchanged some gifts during Christmas, but she's never seen snow. So right on Christmas Eve, because that's what we celebrated. It snowed, man. It was a white Christmas. You know what I mean? That's what everyone wants to see. A nice white fluffy Christmas, right? So at the end of
Where's
the
my
day,
narration of like Christmas music, of Christmas stories? Like, when is this happening?
and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Yeah, man, I got you. I got you with the Christmas stories, man. Actually, that's a good idea. I should
Like
try
with
that.
your voice, dude, it's like it's perfect. It would be
Oh,
perfect.
actually, did we talk about the mic setup at all? So
No, we didn't.
this is not product placement for anyone that's listening, but I do have the HyperX Duocast mic. It was a sale for Walmart for like $40 USB mic, but people are saying it sounds pretty good. Like, I don't know. What do you think? How's my sound quality? Sound all right?
So you're using it right now?
Yeah, I'm using it right now.
Fine. Yeah, it's
That's
great. I mean,
that's
I'm not
good.
the best person to ask. I mean, and I just like go through the audio and be like, "Oh, that's a breath. Oh, that's really long. Let me put it down." Like, I'm
Hey,
horrible at.
you got these two wonderful things, man, in our head that we take for granted sometimes. So
Yeah.
I feel
No,
you,
I'm
man.
telling you, I don't know if I told you this, but like ever since like I really started to work on gratitude of like saying what I'm grateful for all the time, like there's just random times where I'm just like, oh wow, I'm grateful to have legs. I'm
Yeah,
like, how the fuck? Or like, I would have never like not in a million years like and that's unconscious, right? It just
yeah.
came, right?
There was there was an artist the other day who I didn't know was blind. I had no idea they were
Mm,
blind. And the name is escaping me right now, but they made music. And not Stevie Wonder, it was someone else. But I had to think about that. Like, dude, whoever this person grew up with a disability, right? And still took control of their destiny and did something about it, right? Look at Helen Keller. Okay, she was deaf, blind, and whatever else, man. She had like three senses, not even. And she still made a huge impact in history. You know what I mean? Inspired millions of people just by her not giving up on herself. Um, I mean, yeah, look at Stevie Wonder, right? One of the greatest musicians of all time. He's blind. You can't see a damn thing, you know?
Was
So,
it was Beethoven deaf?
yeah,
I think
Beethoven was deaf. Yeah.
okay.
And I think who else? Was it Mozart? I can't remember. But I know
Mhm,
Beethoven was deaf. Um, I mean, Ray Charles, you can't see neither, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff we should be grateful for because people do it without him, you know?
mhm.
So just like
Yeah.
you grateful for your legs, I was thinking about, the
Mhm.
ears, everything, man. Gratefulness is huge, dude. It's like one of the things that keeps us
Yeah,
grounded. Absolutely
absolutely.
grounded.
One thing so not to take from any of their accomplishments, but what I find really interesting is so whenever you're deprived of a sense, so let's say blind, right? There are neurons in your brain that are connected to sight. If you are blind and you don't use them long enough, they actually repurpose themselves to a different sense. So it's like it's amazing that it's like your neurons literally are like, oh, we're not working here. Okay, let me work somewhere else. And
Yeah.
that's how you get like enhanced sound, like you get daredevil kind of stuff,
Yeah, man. We just
stuff
turn into
happening, right?
Daredevil. But
Yeah,
not, it's
exactly.
incredible though. As the human body, I mean, think about it, man. Someone can get shot like 5 times, lose a leg, get in a crazy car wreck, and the body heals itself. It may not be exactly like it was before, but it heals itself to the point where you can still live. You know what I mean? That is
Mhm.
I mean, we're not like, there's animals out there that can regenerate their tails, lizards and stuff like that. We can't
Like
do that.
starfish too. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do that, but we can kind of do something close to it. I think our process just takes longer. I mean, we lose a finger, we ain't growing it back, but it will heal itself. It will create its own casing. It'll somehow function differently. You know what I mean? And those whatever blood circulation will just travel somewhere else. So um, the whole thing with our senses being repurposed for other things is kind of just like life in general. You know what I mean? We lose something, we got to
Yeah.
repurpose shit. We
Mhm.
repurpose. That's what we do. Um, and it's a process, right? But the human body is incredible, man.
Yeah,
Incredible.
it's wild too to think about, yeah, because you also have the brain that kind of filter like, kind of protects you and, like, cuts you off from your full potential of your body. Because then you hear about instances where people are lifting cars just
Yeah.
in, like, mad like, strenuous circumstances where it's like life or death, where they're doing these amazing things, and it's just because it seems like it's just because that brain no long there's nothing your brain is no longer inhibiting you. It's like, no, you're gonna die. I so go.
What is that? What is that limiter? You know what I mean? We all have a limiter. We all
Yeah, yeah.
have, and I don't know if it's the same for everybody, right? But we all have a limiter. I have an idea of what it is. I think it's this, it's our brain. But
Mhm.
what in our brain causes us to say or to not put in, like to not unlock that feeling? I mean, you hear about adrenaline, right? The chemical response to fight or flight, danger, whatever you want to call it, excitement, joy. I mean, riding on a roller coaster is like adrenaline for some people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Myself included. So, but what causes us to kind of break through that? Like, why can't we do that all the time? Imagine if we could. Actually, probably for the better we don't, because that would take away a part of that life. Things happen for a reason. But
I actually
sometimes I
have
wish
a
I could just break through my limiter, man, and just like go for it. You know what I mean? Like stop, just break through it, man. But hey, this is where it starts, dude. This
yeah,
is where it starts. Acknowledging it.
actually yeah, I actually have a kind of theory on that as well, where, like, the limiter is. I think it's the body. It's the body's desire to live. Like you think about it, and it's like there's so much of, like, the limits is just our biological nature. It is, for example, it's like roller coasters, right? Why is your heart beating really fast? Well, because it thinks it's gonna, like, jump off the side of
Yeah,
the edge. You're doing
yeah,
fucking something stupid,
yeah,
right? So it's like, oh my, your heart is saying, "Oh my God, I
yeah,
think you're gonna die. I don't do this. What are you doing?" Same with your lungs, right? Your lungs are consciously a well. I use it in the sense of they're taking agency, right? They're saying, "Oh my God, I'm gonna make you breathe really hard, so you like don't do this," you
yeah.
know. Same with pain, right? Pain is amazing because it tells you what not to do, right? And then you have people like David Goggins. Have you ever heard of
Oh
David
yeah.
Goggins?
Oh, I've listened to David Goggins a
Yeah.
bunch of times too.
Uh,
Guy's
so
crazy. He's really
yeah,
inspirational though.
yeah, absolutely. And it's like you hear about when he's going through buds and an- like his legs broken. He's going through that. I think he's just fighting against his body. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's going beyond his body. His body's telling you, "Hey, stop this. You're gonna kill yourself." And it's his consciousness and his ability to build self-aware is saying, "No, we're gonna go through this anyways, and you're gonna sit down and shut the fuck up."
Yeah. Essentially, basically, yeah. It's just getting control of your flesh, right? The
Mhm.
mind. And the reason why I say the mind is the limiter is because yeah, you're limited
Yeah.
by what your mind does. It tells you.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
do you think he reads Stoicism, David Goggins?
Oh no, I think he just. Well, I honestly I have my kind of it might be controversial, but I have my disagreements with David Goggins.
Let's hear him.
Well, one thing and one of my so whenever I deployed, there was this guy named Dutch, and he brought up a really good point of so yeah, David Goggins, he's done all these amazing, like inspirational, physical all things, but then when you look at his family life, it's just like, he's he's divorced before.
Mhm.
I mean, and it doesn't seem like I'm sure he's a very loving I don't know about his kid situation, but it seems like he's put a lot of the family aspect on the back burner to his physical achievements, his willingness to like go for success, what he has success in his mind. And for me, life is all about trying to be like, okay, this is what I value. This is what I value. You know, how do I like in what circumstances should I say, hey, look, my love for my family overrules success, or hey, look, I need to be focused right now. My love for my family needs to wait a little bit during this time. I don't think he has that. I think it's just I'm going, and it doesn't matter anything else, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna achieve Eve. So yeah, what do you think?
Well, there's something to be said about that, right? Just at the end, it kind of depends on, like you said, your value. What do you want to leave behind in life? And some people live to leave behind a legacy for their children, but some people live to leave a legacy of, just knowing that they were a good person. Um, they were proud of what they've done. They accomplished what they wanted to do. And I think both of them are pretty, I think both of them are valuable. I think you can just disagree with one or the other, right? Because it's just where people's values are. It kind of goes in line with today's Stoicism reading, which talked about how you're going to use your life that you have it, right? And people say life is short all the time, but I never really, I mean, I've said it too, but I've lately in my life, like last couple of years, I realized, no, life's actually kind of long. It's just, you just have to make use of it, man. It feels short when it passes you by, right? You know how many times people say, oh, the years passed us by? Well, yeah, because we probably haven't done much with it. So, uh, for me, I'm just kind of, I talked about this today. What is important to me, right? There was a friend of mine, we were reading at a cafe, and we were reading this, and she was reading this book regarding basically the fact that you will be forgotten eventually, right? You will be forgotten. And I said, well, probably, right? Eventually, yeah. But for how long? Because some people are forgotten pretty quickly. Sad to say, but it's true. But some people who have written record of things, who've written books, that just fell, who've written memoirs, and now we have the internet age, people who have very like prolific content on the internet, videos, right? Movies, those live forever, man. They live for a long, long time to the point where we don't know when. Look at Michael Jackson. Okay. This guy's music's going to be celebrated for who knows how long. The fact that it still sells crazy records, and the dude's been dead for over 10 years, almost 20 years at this point. So I guess at the end of the day, where your values lie, if you want to, whatever you want to leave behind is going to really be reflected in your actions. David Goggins, I don't know what he wants to leave behind, but I could tell that he wants to change the way men view life. They want to change the way men solve their problems, how they want to view at hardship, because he went through some crap, man. He was also, I believe, in the military. He served, he's
Oh
seen,
yeah,
yeah, he's
he's
seen
yeah.
all types of stuff. You know what I mean? And I remember there was a interview he had with a man, and especially when it comes to marital relationships, this dude was talking about his girlfriend, I guess, cheating on him or something like that. And you know what David Goggins, he just said, fuck her. Dude, just move on.
Yeah.
I think he really places value in the fact that nothing in life is permanent, everything's temporary. Nothing really seems as big as it truly is. Reality is oftentimes created in our own mind, right? And it all depends on how you look at it. And there is a lot of value to that because there are a lot of things that we compartmentalize and create in our mind that are much bigger than what they should be, right? Um, Norman, is it, yeah, Norman, I think Norman Peale is his name, Dr. Peale. He talked about it a lot in his books, like, for example, The Power of Positive Thinking, where he talked about creating scenarios, taking things that seem so large and they just take over your mind, and then you're miserable. Even though it's small. It's small. We're such a infant, it's in this infinitesimal space we live, dude. We are so small. And the things in our life are so small. They're only big to us. I'm sure there's something in your head that I probably don't care about because or many other people don't, and that's the reality, right? I may be going through my bullshit at the end of the day, but that's my problem that I create and I make big for myself. So at the end of this, we are such a strange, we're so smart as human beings,
It's
and
so dumb
we're
too.
so dumb at the same time, dude. So dumb. We're too smart for our own good sometimes. We talked about this. Animals having no other purpose than just surviving, dude. They do what they have to do. They don't let bullshit get on the side. So I think David Goggins has a great purpose for himself. And he chooses his destiny. He chooses what to say. And a lot of people like myself and you have listened to it. That's his legacy. That's what he chose to build for himself. His family, according to you, maybe not his biggest
Huh.
priority.
Yeah, and exactly. It's my perspective, right? For Goggins, it might be, no, I have my family life totally is situated.
Yep.
Good. And that's his perspective. Do you have more?
No, just eating food. But
Okay.
that's all I gotta say about that. Um, for me personally, I think um I don't have children. I'm 32 years old. I don't have kids. Right? And there's a reason why, right? There's absolutely a reason why. I am not ready, according to, God, the universe, whatever people believe in. I believe in God. He knows that I'm not ready. He's molding me, he's building me. It's not my time. So I'm gonna take that as okay, then I need to use my time to grow. Especially this is recent, right? I really got to use my time to grow, to create who I want to be because I may not be the most successful person in the world in terms of what success is. Maybe I'm not going to be a very prolific figure. I'd like to be, but that comes with discipline and time and experience. But the biggest thing that matters for me that I can already see in my future is how I am with my children, how they look at me. Because if it's not me, maybe it's my son or my daughter that is meant to change the world, or at least change their circle in a way that benefits a lot of people, right? And that all starts with foundational building. Foundational building is huge. You have a very good foundation, you know, you're disciplined. You're 27 years old, and yet you have a very different mindset from a lot of 27-year-olds that I've met, and especially myself when I was 27 years old. Okay. I was not doing the stuff that you were doing. You know what I was doing? Nothing, right? Nothing. I was playing video games. I was drinking a lot. All right. I was sitting on my ass. I was going to the gym. I was taking care of my body. I was learning stuff like that. I was doing my career. But in terms of things that are of value, I don't think I was doing too much. So foundational building is huge. And that starts with, I guess, whatever it is for you. Whoever's listening, build your foundation. I'm saying that's huge. Because sometimes people don't start with a foundation. People don't have parents. People don't have someone to look up to.
They
People
start
grow.
with the windows.
Yeah, man. They start with what they see, and that's it. So they have to build their own, and there's a lot to be said about that, right? Because tradition is such a huge thing in America, but we're losing it. Not a lot of people grow up with tradition as much as they used to. I think the family dynamic and stuff has shifted a lot, right? And that's a lot of it comes from, and probably this is my one of my reasons why I think, as my opinion, but I think a lot of the mixed racial, mixed race interracial relationships are part of that because now you have two different people with two different types of backgrounds and traditions coming together. So what do you keep? What do you choose? What do you bring forward? My father and my mother he was white. He's white. She was black. Right. So them two coming together, what did they learn from each other? Okay. Um, my stepmother from Trinidad and Tobago, Caribbean household. What has she brought to the table in terms of tradition and culture? So you have a lot of intermingling here, right? So what does the children bring? What does David Goggins bring? What kind of stuff did he bring to his kids? What would you bring? Right? You might end up with a woman from Thailand. You never know, dude. So what what are you gonna what is that gonna turn into for you and your family? What is important to you, Matt, in terms of when you die, right? What does your life, what do you want it to signify? What do you want to leave behind? Do you want to leave behind anything? What do you want your kids to be good? Do you want your voice to be your writings to be heard? Like, what do you want?
Oh, well, I got like not enough fingers for the amount of things I want to
Let's start with top.
say.
Let's like
So,
and most
so,
important.
well, yeah, so it's all important, right?
Yeah.
Um, the first thing, and we'll just talk about what you just said. At the end of your life, the most important thing for me, and I think for most people, is the relationships you build with the people around you. Because who's going to be by your bedside if we're able to get to that point? It's the people you created relationships with.
Yeah.
It's your not your bloodline family, but the family you've created. It's those relationships. And and that's what I think is kind of missing when I look at David Goggins and in comparison to someone like Jocko Willink. And do you know Jocko?
No, it was Jocko.
Oh, so after this, look him up. He's a lot like David Goggins. This person who are you looking him up right now?
No, you know what just happened? I forgot about this. Zoom has a limit on how much you can video call. I just remembered that. So it's telling me you need to
Okay.
upgrade soon. I was, what the heck is going on, man?
Screw you, man.
Anyways,
Or
when
if
it ends, when it ends,
well,
it ends. We'll know
yeah,
for the
yeah, yeah.
future.
Well, we can do. I'd want to do this every week if you want
Yeah,
to
dude.
do
So right
something like
now
that.
we've been doing it for what, 30 minutes? It says I have 9 minutes and
So
28
we
seconds
are.
left. So let's just keep it
Whatever,
going,
man.
brother.
Okay, okay, yeah. And like I said, I if you're up for it, I'm down for doing like one of these every week
Every week.
because it helps me, right? And it probably helps you too. But yeah, definitely look up Jocko Willink because I think he says a lot of what David Goggins says, but has a more well-rounded approach to it. So, for example, whenever you were talking about the guy in his relationship and David Goggins saying "fuck her," well, what Jocko Willing would say would be good,
Yeah.
good, good. Like he talks about it, and that's a source of gratitude as well, right? He's just being like, good, it happened. I'm glad it happened. Good, good,
Yeah.
good. Jocko talks about how whenever he was in the Navy SEALs and he was a supervisor, uh, his troops would come up to him with these problems. They'd be like, "We don't have enough supplies. We don't have helicopter support. We don't have the ballistic missiles, or we don't have this, 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 this." And all he would say is, "Good."
Good.
And his one of his troops comes up to him, tells him, "Oh, we don't have this," and he doesn't have say anything. Jocko's like, "Well, aren't you gonna like ask me like what I think?" He's like, "No, because you're just gonna say good."
Good.
It's like that is just another form of gratitude
Yeah.
towards life, right? It's just like, good. I'm glad this happened. I'm glad we don't have ballistic missiles. Good. I'm glad that it's like we're hindered because it only makes us better, right?
Yeah.
Take for example, the David Goggins in the relationship. It's like, oh my goodness, the girl left me. Good, makes you better,
Yep.
right? I now review, look at it, and see what you could have done better, or move on. Good, keep going. And that's what I'm talking about with like David Goggins and like the relationship building is that I think Jocko. Willink has a more well-rounded and perspective on life
Yeah.
as well, incorporating what David Goggins talks about. So, yeah.
Kind of like how we have a certain amount of time for the call. Good. You know, it's just
A
how you
limit,
look at
right?
things. It's all how you look at
No,
things.
it's
Perspective.
exactly sorry I, like, cut you off, but
No,
this is
you're good.
exactly what I was thinking about with my trip going overseas, right?
Yeah.
I was originally saying, "Oh, I'm just gonna go, like, indefinitely," and then I started thinking about it, it's like, if you don't have a limit to a deadline, a limit to the things you're doing, then you become lackadaisical. You're like, "Oh, I guess I could go over here.
Mm,
Oh, I
yeah.
guess I can do this. Oh, I guess I can do this." But for me, I said, "No, I have 20 months." And that's radically changed, like, the things I'm gonna do because now I'm like, "Crap, I only have 20 months." Like, I actually have to go to the things that I actually care about.
Yeah.
Like, I have to go to the things I value, and it goes back to death,
Yeah.
right? It's like everyone pushes death off in Western civilization, and it's just by doing that, you're pushing the deadline away. And now it's like, yeah, you can be lackadaisical because you think you can live forever unconsciously, right? You
Yeah.
unconsciously
Yeah.
think that. But if you face it and say, "Hey, I'm going to die," oh, wait a minute. Wow, like today I actually need to do something with my life because I don't have a lot of time left.
There's a book I was reading today, actually, the Chronicles of the Juice Man, aka
The juice man.
Juicy J's memoir. My guy, man, one of my favorite artists of all time.
Okay.
And he was talking about how he was growing up. You know, a lot of these. I'll never forget this one thing he said. He said sometimes people will just open the door, and whoever opened it, whoever's at the door will just blow you away. Meaning they'll just shoot you. This is in North Memphis. He was saying it was like hell in Memphis, and it makes me think of like, yo, a lot of people that came from the mud, they made things happen because they really didn't know whether they had tomorrow or not. Like they followed their dreams, they got to the grain because they lived in it. They lived in it in horrible situations. They lived in hell on earth. You know, his account of what meant, he's loyal to Memphis, but and Memphis was some of the greatest music came from Memphis, very musical city. A lot of soul came from Memphis, black soul music. But at the end of the day, it's so many problems, you know. Um, it's starting with stemming from crime, stemming from police, um, uh, relationships with the public, right? Especially in the 80s, man. Like the 80s was such a bad time for the relations between policemen and minorities. So like for them to just living in those situations, you had to kind of put into perspective. Yeah, he got his stuff done. People that came from the mud get stuff done because they don't know when they're going to live. The death is real for them, right? Meanwhile, some people live in luxury. Some people live in such comfort, and they don't understand the concept of death because they think that they'll, like you said, they'll live forever. They're not going to die today. They're safe in their own little bubbles. So they do, well, that usually causes people to do stupid stuff, right? Either they do nothing or they do dumb shit. So life at the end of the day, imagine if we had our own timer, or imagine if we can see the timer on everyone's head, how much time they had left, including our own self, and how that would change people's interactions. Maybe like in Death Note, when Light can see, yeah, man, he can see when people. I believe there's a way he can see how much time people has left, or he knows that someone's time got cut in half. So if we can imagine if we were able to see, like a timer was over your head and a timer was over mine, we knew how much longer we had left in this life, how we would interact with each other, how would we know, like how would we treat ourselves now that we know these things. So the numbers and reality is so strange. Like facts are change everything, man.
Yeah, it's weird because I have I think I have controversial beliefs about like truth and like facts.
Yeah.
I really only think that there's one truth, and that's we're gonna end.
Yep.
We're gonna die, right? I for me, everything else is based on evidence, right? I there was one thought I was having, and I haven't really eh, dug in, eh, did my research on this argument. Haven't really like thought about it enough, but it's just been something I've been thinking of. Is like we have this reality, and we believe in this reality because every time we wake up in the morning, it's there.
Yeah.
It's done it so we've done it so many times that we've gathered so much evidence that yeah, of course it's reality. Like this is how it's supposed to be, right? But there has been times where I've woken up and my arm is completely numb,
Mm.
right? And that's a break in your reality, right? Because you're not waking up thinking, "Oh, I'm perfectly fine." It's, "Oh crap, something's wrong. My whole arm is numb. This is not what it's supposed to happen." So it's us convincing ourselves of uh, permanence, right? I mean, so instead of life is always changing, it's, oh, I expect this not to change. But, and that's why you freak, well, at least when I did it, this was before like my depression and stuff. I freaked out. Right? I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like this isn't the reality. This isn't my reality. This isn't what's supposed to happen. Now, if something happens like that, I'm like, oh crap, my arm's numb. Okay, what's happening?
Right.
And